There we are, up and running. So, afternoon, evening, or wherever we put this out. Welcome everybody. Obviously, Cypher Sigma here with AJ that way.
Chris, how you doing? You all right?
I am not too bad. AJ, yourself?
Yeah, not bad. It's been a while since we've done one
Yeah.
of these.
Yes. So I know we normally do these live, so we get questions, but we decided just to record it one for once. Obviously, we've got a lot going on, and it just makes it a little bit easier for a change. So as the title will show, this is He-Man and Masters of the Universe. Anything and everything about it. That is what discussing the brand is about. I've looked up a little bit, so I'll give you a little bit of a history dive, some facts and figures. Hopefully you'll find it exciting, and then we will get into it. So He-Man and the Masters of the Universe comes from the company Mattel. In the 1970s, the company was trying to produce a boys' toy line. They went through Big Jim, so it's kind of like a Ken-sized figure. That didn't work very well. They had Flash Gordon and Clash of the Titans. They decided, like most companies, to reject Star Wars, so it went to Kenner, and obviously they were making loads of money. And unfortunately, Mattel needed something to do, so they were basically trying to come up with an idea. They came up basically with a premise that boys or 5-year-old boys that they interviewed didn't like being told what to do, so they knew they needed something powerful and something strong that went to the young lads. So one of the guys at the company, Roger Sweet, he coined the name He-Man. He was coming up with some ideas, and he basically threw some toys together. So basically kit bashed. First was basically a action man with a barbarian costume. That was the first one that he promoted. The second one had a tank for a head, and it was called Tank Head. And then the third one had a Boba Fett head.
Yes, I've seen that. Like a white coloured,
like
Mandalorian mask,
yeah. So basically, I say back in the day, in the 70s, obviously they didn't have a lot of money, and obviously they weren't doing that very well. The company only did Hot Wheels and Barbie, and obviously they made loads of money. So with this barbarian themed out the three, that took off. They really liked that. And one of the guys working at the company, Mark Taylor, he was very good at drawing barbarian style art. They used Frank Frazetta's art style. So he's an American artist. If you go look him up, that was the inspiration for He-Man. So basically he was tasked to do these designs, and obviously he threw loads of designs together, and obviously that created the original 8 figures that we got of He-Man. There were a few little stipulations. So when He-Man was created, it was a toy line first and not a cartoon, as happened in a lot of other toy lines. When they were pitching this, obviously the shareholders really liked it, but said that there's not a cartoon with it. What gives it this edge? And the bloke promoting it basically made up that there was going to be a comic with it, so that's why all the original figures came with a comic. And obviously then they started producing figures, and they said, well, isn't there going to be a cartoon as well? And obviously he lied that there was going to be a 2-hour special, which ended up being a 26 episode series. And then obviously one thing led to another. They did have a few things, like it was going to be called Lords of Power, not Masters of the Universe, but they thought that was a little bit religious. And there was I've got a few other facts, but I'll save them until later in the day. But that's how He-Man basically started.
Yeah, and I think it was late in the day they came. They landed upon Masters of the Universe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then that sort of stuck. Yeah. I did doing a little bit of research myself. I did see some of the designs, and I saw those photos of the early concept figures they came out with. But that's right. Yeah, it was the Mattel and Star Wars thing, like you said, that they let go, and then they Kenner, in Star Wars, they let go, and Kenner got Star Wars, and they were a bit jealous then, weren't they?
Yeah, it was.
And they wanted to make their characters a bit more bulky.
Yeah, and obviously you had the Big Jim and stuff to use some inspirations, I think, from. I think it was a executive producer at Mattel that then went to Kenner and got Star Wars, which is
yes.
So that bloke did quite well, I'd imagine. But yes, so that brings us into the world of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. Obviously, that was 1982. It was released. We're obviously 2024, so 42 years later, and we still have some iterations of He-Man, a potential movie next year, and that. So, should we get it? So, I'll go to you because you're obviously a little older than me. Like, how did you get into Masters of the Universe? Because it probably would be very different to what I got into.
Well, I was born in '76, so I was around the right age in the early '80s when it came about. Obviously, Star Wars was a big thing. I had the Star Wars figures and that sort of stuff, and I don't know. I was at that right age,
Okay.
and it was there, and it was the new thing, and bloody dog. So I putting all my stuff on the floor. Storm, leave it. I was at the right age, and yeah, I mean, I have fond memories of playing with, having the figures, watching the cartoons, taping them onto the old.
Yeah.
So can you? Sorry, dog's got a bit. Dog's got a bit of one of my figures.
Oh no, yeah, you want to stop that?
Yeah. Sorry. Where was I? Dog just interrupted me. Yes, and I remember I used to like record the episodes on the end of my whatever films I've got on VHS tape. That they would be filled up with the Master Universe or He-Man episodes at the end, and I'd rewatch them. I've got a funny anecdote about that, but it's not for a PG audience. So I'll share it with you.
Yeah,
After,
okay. That's how you can,
after the live.
put warning up.
Yeah, it's quite a funny anecdote actually.
Okay.
I might share it at the end, but it's not. No, it'll be all right. It'll work. It'll be all right. I'll share it at the end. I'll stick it in somewhere.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, and that's how I got into it, really, into Masters of the Universe. But like anything of that era, the next big thing came out, whether it was, I think Transformers was a little behind, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe was before, then Transformers came. And then, obviously, like everyone else, the interest in Masters of the Universe waned, and you had Transformers, then Thundercats, etc., etc. And like children do, they're on to the next thing. They're on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And then as I've got older, I've had more of an appreciation for the nostalgic feel of the stuff that I grew up on, which has me wanting to revisit that stuff and go back. And with something like Master Universe, I always have fond memories of it. And that's got me back into the collecting of the figures, or the newer figures, not the old ones. I like the new ones that they produce, and that sort of a thing, and reading some of the comics, etc., etc.
Yeah, no, that's good. I say that's what I was kind of expecting. I mean, I was obviously an '82 baby, so I missed kind of the cartoon and the toys. I mean, I never had any of the original toys. Obviously, got a little companion here to obviously tag along. Yes.
Yes, mine's down
there. Yeah. Yes. Don't lick me while I'm on TV. Yeah. So I never had any original toys. The cartoons, though, I do remember. Yeah, but the original cartoon that's my kind of first memory. Specifically Triclops. I don't know what it is. There's one episode with Triclops where he's twisting his head, and that's always the one memory I have from that cartoon.
Okay, yeah.
Strange what it is. It's the things you remember from when you were a child, but that's
yeah. It's you get these memories come back. I did have the toys. I did have Castle Grayskull. I had Snake Mountain. I was quite lucky in that sense. I had that attachment to Castle Grayskull that sits on top of the parapet.
Oh yeah.
And it's got the bird fly thing on it or something. Yeah, it was, and I had friends in the same age as me who lived in the same area, and we was all into the same stuff at the same time. So you'd go out and play with your figures, and do you know what I mean? I remember a time when they were doing some works outside outside where I used to live, there's a big green with a hill, and they dug a lot of it up, and they're building a new wall along it. And it's not like nowadays when these places are fenced off and you can't get into them. And it was like a perfect playground for our figures because it was all like just rubble and do you know what I mean? We was in there, we used to play with them, and yeah, good memories like that, you know.
No, it's all it's very. I have fond memories of playing with toys. Obviously, not unfortunately He-Man because I never grew up really with the toys until later, which obviously we will get to see. But I mean, yeah, going off the figures, they made a lot of money. Obviously, it made 38 million in the first year, then 80 million, then 111, then 250 million, then 400 million, and it's quite funny. And then when it got to the film 1987, it made 7 million.
It dropped off completely, didn't it? That film at the completely wrong time when, no one was interested.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, a lot of when I've seen a few documentaries and stuff, they speculate a lot about obviously when they created the idea of He-Man, and obviously the other kind of toys they were producing were Barbie and then Hot Wheels. Obviously, He-Man kicked off, and they were like, "Oh my god, it's earning more than the others." So that's why She-Ra was kind of created as a girl's equivalent. And there's a lot of kind of talking about that when you're a kid and you're a boy, obviously you want to play with your toys, but your sister, she has her Barbies and she leaves you alone. But because they made a kind of parallel character, even though He-Man was like this big and Barbies are like this big, that boys started to kind of not think it's cool because your sister plays with something that's in the same kind of toy line. That was the working theory, which I never it could have been.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, He-Man had quite a substantial female following. Girls did. I think it's about 20% of viewers was girls.
Okay.
Which led them on to the idea of She-Ra and doing She-Ra. And even myself, I mean, I remember I did have some of the She-Ra figures then as well.
They'd be worth a bit of money now. I think the figures are quite sought after, some of them, with their accessories and that.
Yeah, if I only kept hold of it all, but there we go. Hindsight.
But you played with it and had a nice childhood, so that's the main thing.
Yeah. But I do remember having some of the She-Ra figures. Not many. I had a few. But that was probably towards the latter part of my, my enjoyment of them was probably waning then, and I was on to the next thing.
Okay, yeah. So, I say obviously you had the series and obviously had the movie. There it is. If obviously the Christmas.
Yeah,
special.
I've got I do have.
Yeah, you got that.
I do have that. I actually reviewed that Christmas special a year and a half ago.
Okay.
On the channel at Christmas time when I used to do 12 Days of Christmas and I'd review 12 Christmas films. That particular year, I decided to do that. Pick that He-Man Christmas special, being Christmas themed. Yeah. That was a good watch. It weren't bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a bit cheesy in places, which I always think of. I mean, obviously, it was produced, and obviously, they always have the messages at the end of it. Yeah. Which is always, obviously, to keep it kid-friendly. I mean, for some reason, until I was like a teenager and I rewatched this, I always thought they weren't related. I was always like, why did He-Man and She-Ra get together? And then when you're like their twin brother and sister, I was like, I don't think that would have got through the...
No, see, I know you showed yours already, but for my complete series, I have that, which is
I bought a cheap box set, but I probably did.
Yeah, it's the German. When I was going through a sort of nostalgic. This is when I was getting Thundercats, Mask, He-Man. I didn't care where they came from. So obviously that has all. It's 18 DVDs, all 130 episodes, is it? Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Quality. There we go. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, no. Cool. So, I mean, there ain't too much we can say about the original series. Shall we move on to good old Dolph Lundgren?
Well, but before we do, how did you get into the figures? How did you get into it, having missed it? You didn't really.
So when I was a kid, obviously, I I was probably old enough to watch cartoons around like Turtles and maybe at the late Transformers, probably when it was reruns. And I think there must have been reruns of the show for me to have been able to watch He-Man, even though it would have been 6 or 7 years old at that time. So that's what I remember when I was a kid. And obviously, because it was 6 or 7 years old and 6 or 7 years after the toys were produced, they probably weren't around too much. Obviously, it wasn't at the time. It was, as you said, like Transformers or that were more out there, which is why I had more of them. I don't. So, but it's only, I'll say, later incarnations. And I remember the movie, so I must have watched that probably when I was a young childish.
What movie are you talking about? The sheep? Oh, the live action. Okay,
yeah, that one. I only saw this when I picked it up, so I don't know if I ever watched this as a kid, because I don't think I ever got all the way through.
Do you have Secret of the Sword, though?
No, I only have a Christmas special.
Oh, I'm surprised. I'm shocked that you don't have that.
Yeah. There's so many stuff. You're
gonna have to
see my collection.
You've got everything. You got everything, and you ain't got that.
No, I want everything, but yeah, it's no, I don't have.
Because that was theatrical. That was a theatrical release.
Okay. No, I did not know that. I'll have to.
Yeah, that was in the cinema. That was made and released in cinemas when I think it was towards the end. Obviously, it was towards the end of the time of He-Man. But yeah, that was a theatrical movie, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
I'm shocked you ain't got it. Have you seen it?
No, I didn't.
What?
Yeah, so this is because I was so young and probably to put it on my personal. Obviously, my mum and my dad split up when I was 3, and he wasn't around, so it's a lot of my mum raising me. So we didn't necessarily have loads of money, so I never got lots of toys. Obviously, I did have family members, I think, and because of my age, where I am, I mean, it wasn't until I was like late teens when I started working that someone showed me the Transformer movie, and I had no idea that existed. I'd never witnessed Optimus Prime dying in the 80s. I was never traumatized by that. So I'm just a big kid now.
But you must have known of the existence of that, though.
No, I literally, you just told me now, and that's the first kind of. I didn't know there was a live action, The Secret of the Sword. I thought that was like a version of this, but
no, this is yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
You're going to have to hunt this down now, aren't you?
Yeah. You're a bad influence, AJ.
I can't see the runtime of it. It's got to be, what's that? 1 hour 27. 1 hour 27 minutes.
Oh, there you go. Just under.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hunt that down now.
Okay.
I don't know why it's got one disc in there and it says disc 1. I don't know why it says disc 1. Oh wait, Secret of the Sword. Yeah, Secret of the Sword. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hunt that down now.
No.
I'm sure you can get it cheap.
I'm sure I can. I'm sure Music Magpie or CEX or somebody will have it.
Yeah, damn right. I only got it a little while ago. I mean, when I was going through this, probably not even 2 years ago, when I was going through this this revisit and this nostalgic kind of, I want all the animated stuff that I want from my childhood kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it ain't that long ago that I got it.
Okay.
But I do remember it. I don't know if I went to cinema to see it.
Okay.
That I don't know. But yeah, it was a theatrical release. There you go. You learned something new.
Yeah, I've definitely learned something new.
There we go. We almost hit a stumbling block and had to close this episode there. Because
just to show as much research as I can do. I'm still lacking in.
Yes. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, live action. Let's go to the second. Let's go to that second theatrical He-Man movie.
There was a second one.
Yeah, which is I've got the same release as what you've got.
Yeah.
The one with the which is bigger than a standard. It's Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah.
But it's big. It's more of a DVD size case.
Yeah, I have my J card inside because.
Which it does annoy this. Just before we go, I mean, this release does. I don't. I mean, it looks great when you go like that.
Yeah.
And you got the complete poster, but as a front cover, it's like
you want that kind of. You need that as a front cover. I agree with you there.
But it's got embossing. It's embossed front and back, which you can see there heavily so as well. But yeah, no, it makes for a nice release. Yeah. I think is this Dutch or something like that? I think it's a Dutch release.
Yeah, the writing's not in English, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think it says.
I did actually have the Amaray release, but I sold it to. I'm not sure. I might have sold it on eBay through the culling because I had that, so I didn't need that as well. You know what I mean? But anyway, yes, 1987.
Dolph Lundgren. Yep. So I think we spoke about this maybe before. Obviously, that this had a reduced budget. I think it's linked to Superman 4, if memory serves right. It's the same studio, but they cut the budget on Superman 4 and split it, so it's half Superman 4, half Master of the Universe, which is why.
Yes, they diverted 50. I think about 50% of the budget of. Sorry, dogs bark as people.
That's all right. I'm used to it all the time. It's fine.
So what's happening? Oh, they diverted school kids going past and dogs are barking. They diverted 50% of the budget or something of Superman 4 to make
Master of the Universe. Yeah.
Master of the Universe. Yeah, which is quite, the coming out of Master of the Universe, quite funny. The link between, before we, I'll say, it always amuses me how you got Superman 4 links to Master of the Universe in that sense, and then Master of the Universe links to Cyborg.
Yeah.
Because, they started working on a script for the second one, and then it was, when it weren't proceeding ahead with, because of the canon problems, it was turned into Cyborg, Van Damme. But anyway, go on. Sorry.
No. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, no, it's that's as much as I knew about it. Obviously, I mean, I think you and me both enjoy it enough. So it has its issues.
It's a bad film. It's a bad film, but it's got that. It's got that so bad it's good quality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Skeletor, I think it's quite good. I mean, I like Dolph Lundgren. The fact that he couldn't speak much English didn't pay much issue on it. I think they had to re-record some stuff, I want to say, for him.
They were gone.
Yeah.
He had it contractually obliged that he had 3 attempts to dub it himself. Okay. But they never got to that stage because of running out of money. So they had to go with him and his voice regardless. Some of his line delivery is abysmal in it, I can't deny that it is. But I'm knocking Dolph Lundgren. I like Dolph Lundgren. He's he couldn't speak English. He couldn't speak much English. Yeah. So to be fair, do you know what I mean? But he was. Who else can you think from that era to play that part? He was perfect.
Yeah.
Visually, he was perfect for the role.
And obviously, he was just coming off Rocky 4 as well, wasn't he? I think.
That's right. He'd done. Yeah, this was his first leading man role. He'd done Rocky 4, and I think before Rocky 4, he only had a bit part in James Bond. The one with what was Roger Moore's final film?
Yeah,
the one with the one where it ends on the Golden Gate Bridge. Future Kill, Christopher Walken. Yeah, he was like a henchman in it, in maybe a scene or a couple of scenes or something. Yeah.
And then
I mean, what was I? When that came out, I was now 11.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I saw it at the cinema or not. I can't recall whether I saw that at the cinema. Possibly not.
I think it's not. Is it got an 8 rating on it? It should have. I would imagine it'd be PG.
Yeah, I think it was PG.
Yeah.
As I recall, because I would have had the VHS for it. I remember having the VHS for it back in the day when it came out. But obviously, it disappointed fans, didn't it? Of the IP, it disappointed fans because it's quite far removed in a sense.
No. I mean, it takes on what in it, because obviously if you don't follow the history of obviously He-Man, obviously when He-Man was created as a toy line, there was no Prince Adam. It was He-Man. It was only when I believe the cartoon was the creation of Prince Adam. Even the comics initially was like Primal pre-Eternia, I think, and he wasn't Adam. It was just He-Man.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the choices in that movie were budgetary.
Yeah, like the
were made for budget.
KFC.
Sorry,
like KFC. So they actually filmed a scene with Gwildor and KFC, and obviously then they couldn't get the rights, so then it's like Bob's Chicken or something like that.
Yeah, it was. But that's the thing, because obviously Gwildor was a replacement for Orko, because Orko was deemed unfilmable, or they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I believe though the film had one of the largest sets. It was one of the set inside Snake Mountain
was great. Yeah, the massive
was I think one of the largest sets ever built for a film since, I want to say something like Cleopatra or something like that.
Okay.
If I may be mistaken there, that what film it was, the last had a set of that sort of magnitude. But obviously not too much of it was filmed in because of budgetary reasons. It's easier to bring them to Earth and film it.
Yeah, in Eternia and make all of ones up.
Yeah, in the streets of New Jersey, I think it was set.
Yeah.
With a young Courtney Cox.
Yeah, and Tom Paris.
Yes, Robert Duncan McNeil.
Yeah. Young
Robert Duncan McNeil, he's now what is he? He does a lot of directing and producing now. Yeah. Mm. So what are your thoughts on the film?
Well, I say I like it. I mean, I was younger than you, so I liked it for what it was. I think maybe because I didn't have as big of an attachment to the cartoon, I enjoyed it. I like Gwildor. I'm not. I mean, I like Jar Jar Binks, so I get probably a lot of heat from a lot of people. The silly character that they throw in.
Yeah.
I'm happy with those. I don't mind. Yeah. From a kid's perspective, I did enjoy it. I still enjoy it now. I reckon now I have a better knowledge of He-Man. I can definitely see where I would have done it better. But I still think it wasn't as bad as some of the stuff that has been released in that era.
No. See, for me, I mean, like I said, it's one of those films so bad it's good kind of thing. I can watch it every so many years, but when I'm watching it, I'm like, well, this isn't a great film, but it's okay in bits. Dolph Lundgren I like in the role. Frank Langella's, fantastic in the role. Skeletor, I mean, he really does deliver in that role, and that's because his kid was a fan. His son or something was a fan of He-Man, so he'd done it sort of for him. And as I recall, he actually wanted to do it. He wanted a visually accurate Skeletor, so he worked out, built himself up, because in his mind he was going to do Skeletor topless with the, Skeletor is in the garden in thingy. I don't know how that would have worked, how that would have looked, but there we go. Yeah. But I think for me, I remember always being disappointed that it was different to, the animated series. In that, the animated series is so rich in its character vastness, and everyone's got their favourite characters from that plethora of characters that are on offer in toys and in the comics and cartoons, that when you get to the film, you're presented with loads of other characters that are not, I know you've got Beastman in it, sort of thing, but not really visually Beastman that do you know what I mean? You're like, well, where are these
characters? Cyclops, Merman and everyone else. Do
you know what I mean? And especially on the He-Man side of things, because you've got He-Man, okay, wonderful. You've got Duncan, Man at Arms, which to be fair, his suit is it's all right. I mean, the suit is a decent sort of practical design of his suit in the cartoon, in the toys. It's got the round bit there, obviously, and do you know what I mean? They've done it. You got the Teela character, but beyond that, you haven't got anything. I'm given Gwildor. Gwildor, who's Gwildor? Do you know what I mean? That was from my perspective back then. Who the hell is Gwildor? I don't want Gwildor. I want someone else who I recognise. I want villains that I recognise. I want, the character. That's what you want. That's what you want. You want that colourful. That's what I imagine from Master Universe film. I want that sort of that colourful array of character that was there. I want to see. I know back then impossible, but I want to see Battle Cat. I want to see He-Man riding Battle Cat. And so from that perspective, it's as a kid, you don't think about budgetary restraints and the reasons why they've done, and this is how they had to do it for that. You know what I mean? You don't think about that. You think, well, this isn't the He-Man I know. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No, I can get that. I say it's what you say about that. I've just had the realization that it's called Masters of the Universe, and it doesn't really have any Masters of the Universe. It's He-Man with Duncan and Teela that appear up sometimes.
Yes, yeah, and Courtney Cox and Tom Paris running around, and James Tolkien from
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
The principal, he gets everywhere he did in that period of time.
To be fair, I mean, the film, there's some decent special effects in the film. I can't. The film looks, it does have some special effects on offer, and it has a sort of semi-decent superhero soundtrack by Bill Conti, who obviously done the Rocky music.
Yes.
But when they come to put the score together for the film, there was a strike. There was a strike or something going on, so Bill Conti couldn't finish it off or something. So they just had to use music that had been recorded in different sessions.
Okay, yeah.
And throw it together, string it together to give the film a. But it worked. It's got a decent score to it.
No.
It's a shame they don't. Yeah, I mean, again, the other disappointment is you haven't got that He-Man and the Master of the Universe classic music that you want to hear. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of used, even worked into it somewhere. It's not there. But so I'm going on all disappointments. But I have fun with the film, and as being older, you can appreciate it more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a shame I said someone hasn't come out with this is what the actual plan was. That's the bit I always miss. When we originally planned this movie, this is what was meant to happen, and this and this and this. And I think that would be really good to see what the plan was, and then when you know why it happened of it.
Well, I think from the get-go, Canon. So I'm just adjusting my camera. Canon was actually intent on setting the whole thing on Earth.
Okay.
And it was the director. Is it someone Goddard or something? I think his name is. I think the director fought to have parts of it set on Eternia.
I don't know. Can't even see who the director is. Gary Goddard, you were right. Yeah.
He fought to have parts of it set on Eternia at least. But there we go.
Yeah.
It's what it is. And then obviously you get the tease at the end after the credits of Skeletor raising up out of the. Don't tell me you don't know about that. You know that bit, don't you?
Yeah, I do know there is a bit at the end. It's been a long time since I've seen it. That's why I was just like.
Yeah, Skeletor sort of raising out of this pinky watery stuff, and basically he'll be back, sort of a thing. And like I said, they had costumes made for a second one. they'd worked on costumes and all this sort of a thing, and so a lot of the costumes and some of the script that was written for part 2 was worked into Cyborg. So essentially, if you watch Cyborg, you are seeing some of Master of the Universe 2.
Okay. I've been a long time since I've seen Cyborg as well. So is that where Jean-Claude does the splits at the top of the wall?
I don't know. He does splits in most of his films.
Yeah, I know. For any reason, ain't it? You're walking down the street, I'll do the splits.
Yes.
2 Volvo trucks, I'll do the split.
Yeah, I don't know. So Cyborg's been a long time myself.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So obviously we've done the film. If we're going in chronological order, obviously after that we had the 1990 TV series or animated series, The New Adventures of He-Man, where it was the news.
Yeah, this was the one that was more sci-fi-ish.
Yeah, basically went into space.
Yeah, and he had a ponytail.
Yeah, which a lot of people hate. I mean, I liked the designs. Again, that was probably more my era because obviously I would have been 7 then, so I would have been watching cartoons at that time, and I didn't mind it. But again, I've not got that original series to kind of influence me, and that's not my He-Man.
Yeah. So now I've not seen that. I've not. Okay. But I'll be honest, I didn't even know that existed until doing a bit of preparation for this, right? Because for me, it's much like Transformers. Not having seen a lot of what comes after the original. It's that OG stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean? That and the nostalgia. It's the nostalgia that drives me of that. Not that I wouldn't, I'd be curious to see it. Do you know what I mean? And see what they've done. But yeah, it's not something that I've visited or even knew about. Knew existed.
I don't even know if they released it. I said I'll have to look that up. Actually, that's something. But yeah, I'd say we don't need to cover too much. I think on that side of things. Obviously that didn't get off the ground. So then the next one is probably my favorite series, and obviously AJ is 2000X or 2002, what you want to call it. So this is kind of the rebranding of He-Man for the 2000s. They did 2 series, toys by the 4 Horsemen. So if anybody knows toys, these are the people who do Mythic Legions and stuff. And yeah, this was kind of what got me back into He-Man, and then everything snowballed from then for me.
So yeah, again, something that would have passed me by at the time, but it was on one of your videos when you done one of your collection videos.
Yeah.
So I saw that, and that's when I asked you because I remember you saying this is like your favourite iteration of. So I've sort of sourced them, and I started watching the other day. I'm only a few episodes in. Don't get me wrong, I'm not far into it. I'm struggling with the animation. I'm struggling with the animation in a sense. It does look pretty simplistic.
I can get that because obviously you've come off Revolution and Revelation, and then to go back almost 20 years in animation and that.
Yeah, but I still even prefer the animation in the original series to the animation. Okay. But that's just, so that's probably something I just need to get used to more than anything else. I did like that it started off as an origin story.
Oh, yeah, the 4-parter. Because that is...
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just... Because it's something that I've noticed, and sorry, I'm almost segueing. He-Man is probably one of the only kind of brands or like thing that literally in almost every incarnation, except for the movies, because I've not seen the other one, and that within the first minute the story. And I was like, it's just like, hi, I'm Adam, but I'm also He-Man. These are my mates. Those are the bad guys. Let's get going.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I can kind of think. I mean, there are word cartoons and stuff, but there's nothing really today that you could. I mean, even I had to rewatch some of Netflix just to quickly, and even Netflix, it's like I'm He-Man. I'm from Eternia. We've been fighting Skeletor. Let's get going.
Yeah, so you haven't got that origin episode.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can watch. It doesn't matter where you put the episodes, you can watch them. You haven't got that sort of chronological. This is the definitive pilot story, introduction, origins, like what Transformers had, or Thundercats had, that sort of a thing. Yeah. Where they end up where they, like crash to Earth and all that sort of a thing. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I never really noticed that. But now you're saying,
yeah.
It's almost like you're jumping into it. It's almost like it's missing an origin pilot, the original series.
Yeah, I mean,
and you've jumped in at episode 4 or 5 or something, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've noticed this in movies, and this kind of segues that through the 80s and 90s, there was, even with movies, there was a time where within the first few 10 minutes of a movie or something, it would kind of explain everything and just get on with it. There's no real having to, or there's even like, I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't think of the top of my head. But yeah, like even there's some movies where it starts and it'd be like, this is this person, and then you're like, okay, that's fine, off we go. You'd accept it for what it is. Whereas nowadays, we're all like, you got to spend an hour building everything up or killing off Uncle Ben or whatever.
Yeah. So like I was saying, so I was quite nice. It was quite nice to see the origins of Skeletor, of Adam into He-Man. That was quite a
Here we go. So some trivia. So I'll throw in this other one. So Mark Taylor, who obviously did the animation for Skeletor, he did the character design, he did the picture. So when he was a child, he went to a fun house, and there was kind of this skeleton drops out and like scares you. So that was the inspiration for Skeletor. When he was shocked as a kid on that circus ride or wherever it was at Long Beach Pike, it's called. So 50 years later, after he was scared, they actually found out that was a real body. So someone was killed and then put in a fun house with scaring kids was actually a real life. So that was a interesting thing. So that scary real life skeleton was the creation of Skeletor.
Yeah. I read up. I did read that bit.
It's all there you go, audience. If you didn't know, Skeletor was actually like, but yeah, where do we go? We sidetracked. Yeah, I mean, I as I say, I really like it. I've got a few bits. So obviously, they did do a range of stuff. Probably there. So obviously, Stratos. So they did these mini busts. So this
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I've got one of that and one of Triclops. But Iclops I dropped, so he's a little bit broken.
Oh, that's a shit. I hate when that happens.
Yeah. Well, I had to bring this out because every time AJ's mentioned this, you picked up the recent figure, and what was the one thing you said you weren't sure about?
The twisting. Yeah, the original had the twisty neck, body and neck. So is that the new one?
Yeah, so this is the 2000X version, but he does have that feature exactly like as the original one does. So I thought I'd bring him out because I thought that would.
Cool. Do you know he only appeared in 3 episodes of the original series?
Yeah, Mechaneck.
Yeah.
I mean, this figure's quite cool. He has I don't know if I could probably put it. Where's the camera? Am I going to do it there?
Oh, he has like a spy hole.
He has a little spy hole for him as well, which I didn't realise until today as well. When I pulled him out for AJ, and then I was like, oh, he's got a hole in the back of his head.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Like the old, you used to have that sort of thing on the old Action Men. You could hold up and look through the eye or something. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's cool.
So obviously, going back to the series, obviously it's split into 2. So obviously we had the first main series, and then obviously Snake Men, which is another reason why I thought this was quite nice. I like the designs. I like the armor. They're just a pain to stand up. That's the only thing I have with these figures.
So this is season 2, isn't it? 13 episodes, was it?
Yeah, 13 episodes. Yeah, so he has obviously his sword. Then has, if I can get this open. So he has a little. Where's the camera? There it is.
So are they continuity? Is there strong continuity for these 2000X series?
Yeah. So I don't know if I don't want to give too much away for you. That's what I'm trying to say. So the first series is He-Man versus Skeletor. Obviously, you learn the whole Skeletor was Keldor. He is He-Man's uncle. Sorry if I'm spoiling that for anyone. Which I never knew back in the day. Then he gets defeated at the end of season 1. I'm sorry, I've ruined this all for you, AJ. But you find out underneath Snake Mountain, that's where King Hiss and all the Snake Men are. That actually locked in underneath, and they escape at the end of season 1 / beginning of season 2. And then they do a 2-episode with Hordak and explains him as well. So it all links in. It's all well and good. They don't feature She-Ra. That's probably the only missing point. And obviously Zodak is in it because I never realised he's down as kind of the King Hiss opposite. It's them two, whereas he was one of the first figures created.
Okay. So the good thing about what I've seen about, and again, looking, you can almost put this series as a prequel series.
Kind of. I say because it has suppose. Yeah, it's a little hard, I think, because it does have. You can't really watch it out of order too much because they do feature newer characters. Everyone kind of has an introduction episode, so to speak. Obviously, Duncan builds Roboto, and that. So there is kind of a story. I mean, I'm just trying to think because yeah.
But what I mean is you've got obviously Skeletor's defeated at the end of season 1, which I've not seen yet, and you can assume that him and his minions go into exile and split up to their thingies. And then when you go and watch, so you've got the origins of Skeletor, you've got the origins of He-Man, younger Prince Adam, this sort of a thing, becoming He-Man. And then when you move into the actual original show, like you said, there isn't a pilot. There isn't a. It's almost like the episodes just they happen. Everything is as it is. But there's what is it? There's an episode 4 or 5 episodes in which would serve better as a pilot.
Okay.
Which is the one where Skeletor calls for all his people to come together.
Yeah.
And then they all come to him around because the first episode's the Comet one. I can't remember the title. Is it Night of the Comet or something like that?
Yeah.
I know I'm getting the title wrong. And then the other episode I'm talking about is something to do with an orb.
The Cosmic Comet is the first one.
It, the Cosmic Comet. And then there's an episode 4 or 5, and you see Skeletor kind of call out, essentially get his minions to come back to Snake Mountain, and then they're all sat around the table. So you've got Merman, things like that. And if you consider that as the first episode, which would work, it's kind of like at the end of 2000X when they're all defeated, they then come back to him at that point, and you've got the older He-Man, the established He-Man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
I think a lot of fans do sort of look on it like that to try and work it into continuity as best they can.
Yeah, that would. Diamond Red Disappearance, I believe, is the episode that you're talking.
Yes.
About minions, and it's funny because that's the one that had Triclops. That's the one bit from that episode is what I always remember him looking for like a rock and trying to find a device and that.
Yeah,
so it's funny that that's the one I always seem to gravitate towards too.
Yes. Yeah. So I will get through them.
That's cool. Okay, well we can move on to Revelations and Revolution because
before we do though, do you have She-Ra in your collection or not? You don't. Okay.
She-Ra, this is.
Sorry.
No. I said I'm really bad. Like this is.
Have you seen She-Ra?
I've seen bits. Sorcerer of Power. Yeah, I've seen bits, but I think maybe my sister used to watch it as a kid, and I was He-Man, Turtles, Transformers. So.
Yeah, because what was this? I think this was 98 episodes.
Something like that. It was 83, 84, was it? It was like a year or two after the original
Yes.
He-Man.
Yeah. Obviously, He-Man's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just what is it? Yeah, go on. Anyway, yeah. So move on.
No, that's it. I'm just gonna say, obviously if we go past obviously the 2000X, then obviously we move into 2021. So 2 series was created, obviously MOTU, or Masters of the Universe Revelations, and obviously the not one that you'll probably think is just He-Man and Masters of the Universe, which is the very kiddie type.
Yes, again, which
You've not seen, I would imagine.
I didn't see. So for me, Masters of the Universe Revolution is Revelation.
Yeah.
And Revolution. That's where my sort of nostalgia was reignited.
Okay.
Is the word I'm looking for. With that coming about, it's and the fact that that's sort of a continuation of, it is what made me start to go back into. That was the sort of catalyst for that.
Yeah. No, I can get that. I say, like, I this is more for kids. Obviously, that's why all the designs look like that. So it has a catchy tune intro, and the figures you can pick cheap.
Yeah. So how long did that last? When was? I know that's pretty recent, isn't it? Because you had a She-Ra one as well. Might not, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you?
Yes, you had an animated She-Ra series. I never saw any of that where she's like I didn't like the drawing style and stuff. That was on Netflix as well. You are correct.
Yeah.
That.
I'm guessing that was a knock on from that series there, as in a sort of, we've done this, now let's do this.
Yeah, I think it was. They did She-Ra and then they did this one. I mean, it was okay. I think it was only like 3 series of like 10 episodes, 6 episodes, something like that. It's not a massively long series, but it was all right. So He-Man's like really, really massive and stuff, but it's for kids, so it was. So I don't begrudge it. I enjoyed it for what it was. But yeah, Revelations, I say, same group. I really liked it. I very much went against the grain. Everyone was like the first half, oh, where's He-Man? Why is it Teela? And I actually quite liked that we got not a lot of He-Man at first. Let's just start building up, because we've had series and series and series of He-Man. There's so many other characters. It's always good to kind of flesh out that world.
Yeah, I was the same because I reviewed it. I reviewed it when it came out on the channel. I think I reviewed. Did I review every episode or just the beginning? I don't know. I can't remember, but I know that I'd done a video reviewing it, and I said the same thing. I quite liked the fact that they ejected He-Man and focused on. It didn't bother me one bit that He-Man was fridged essentially at the start, as was Skeletor, and you had the focus on these other characters that, because like I said before earlier here, you've got such a rich, diverse world of visually interesting characters, which obviously I know they're all designed just to sell toys, but that they are, there's a lot of rich, interesting characters there. And so it was nice to have a series that was focusing more on the world and the other characters that inhabit it, and maybe giving them a bit more story than what they would have been given previous. So I had no issue with it. I did have issue when He-Man returned.
Okay.
I was kind of disappointed that he returned when he did, and how he did with the barbarian side of it. The sort of hulkish brute kind of a thing that came about. It was like, you've done what I didn't want you to do, which was bring him back. At least. Do you know what I mean? It just felt a bit soon.
No, I mean, even with the second series, I feel like we didn't get enough, but then some things were a little bit rushed. And there. So I think I've only got one figure down. Oh yeah, Roboto.
Yeah, so these I've got a load of figures beside me.
Oh, okay.
you open all yours up. I've only got 2
Yeah.
figures that are open, right?
Have you got
Which
revived? Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, which is Scared God.
Yeah.
The only reason he's opened is because I accidentally bought a second one.
I remember.
Yeah. I did ask you if you had it, which you did, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
So I thought, oh, why not? I'll open it up in that case, because I don't open mine. And the only other opened one I've got, I'm not including the buzz off that you sent me, which I would have here, but he's packed away now because where I've been packing stuff. He's in the box. It's the only other opened one I've got is
Baker. Yeah.
Yes. Which I did try and get boxed, which they sent me. I bought it from America, boxed, and I had Fisto turn up.
Oh yes, I did.
And he had the faker sticker on him, as in like this sort of little sticker, barcode sticker. So
Yeah,
if I'd gone and tried to get another one, chances are I'd have ended up with another Fisto. I got full refund on that anyway, so I got Fisto for nothing because it was a completely wrong character they sent me. But that's the one that I wanted. But then someone was selling one online, unboxed, so I thought, why not? I'll get it one way or the other.
It's a cool looking figure.
Yeah. It's unfortunate I didn't get his bits with him.
Okay.
Bits that come with him. It was literally
that one. Okay.
Yeah, just as is there, which is that's pretty cool, I suppose. Don't bother me. I got him. I've still got more here that we can go and tell of if you want.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's got to say, I've only got one figure left. So it was from, obviously, this line. So anybody who collects this line like I did, they did a limited amount of figures, and then they did these little busts, but then they did statues of figures. So there is like about, I think, half a dozen I see. So they did like Hordak, not Fisto, like, I can't remember, but yeah, I this is one of because the Snake Men look so cool from science. So this is Squeeze.
Mm.
So obviously, again, a bit of a pain because obviously it normally has a base, but you can get them cheap if you look out for them. But yeah, I thought they were really cool designs. I can't remember from the original series if we saw much of the Snake Men.
I can't remember.
No.
I think there was one. I think he had. I think Skeletor had a minion that was a Snake Man.
Yeah.
So again, you could, and it goes into that sort of. You can watch the Snake Men series as a precursor to.
Yeah, no.
That when they're defeated, they and then one of them is just a minion for Skeletor later down the line. So I've got a few here that I've picked up that I've brought down. So I've got my 40th anniversary version of He-Man because obviously he's much akin to the figures that I played with.
Yeah,
I know they're not the same, but visually it's kind of a better version of how I remember. With their sort of stubbiness and that, but yeah, better version. So I've got a few He-Mans. I mean, what else have I picked up? What else did I pick up? Okay, so this one here, I've got to show this because this is obviously the design on that figure is, a spot on for Frank Langella, the Skeletor from the film. So even though the He-Man figure, the Dolph Lundgren one, isn't the likeness of Dolph Lundgren for obvious reasons, this, because it's not Frank Langella's face, could be exactly as it looks. This goes for quite cheap now. I've seen this for like 18 quid. I think I paid 40 quid for this one when it came out.
Yeah, it comes with Mickey as well.
Yeah, just because it was so nice. My favourite character as a toy figure, which because you kindly sent me the original one, Buzz Off. I've got fond memories of that character as a kid, and I remember going out and there was a toy shop in Peckham called Zodiac Toys, and I remember my mum buying me the original version of that figure and coming home with it, and I don't know, I loved I don't know, something about that character that I really liked. Others that I've got, and this is only, this box, it annoys me, this box just pops open. But I do have She-Ra.
Yeah.
I had to. I couldn't not. Yeah, I don't open mine.
No, I know. You're not.
Because I can't display them open anyway. I got 3 more here. 3 more. I'll show you. So I did pick up, when I saw that, I had to pick it up.
Evil Lynn, yeah.
Yeah, based upon the movie version. Meg Foster's Evil Lynn.
They are nice figures. I am very jealous, but I try not to duplicate. But it's so, yeah.
I know. So I had to get that when I saw it, and I think that one goes for quite a bit of money now. I never see it at a decent price, and obviously I had to pick up that one from Revolution, the Orko, because I do have the other Orko because Orko comes with a Barbarian He-Man.
Yeah.
The other Orko, like he is in Revelation, but when he turns into when he comes back. So I had to get that, and obviously Gwildor being brought into
the animated
fray in the animation. I had to get that as a double pack, and again, that's one that I paid. I did pay full price for Forbidden Planet when I saw it in there. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun on some of these because the prices on a lot of them, you never know which one's going to go down and which one's.
Exactly, I would agree. I mean, if I could find a cheap Gwildor, I definitely would snap that. And the movie figures.
Yeah, a few, some go down. Like I said, Evil Lynn goes for, I see it for quite a bit. When I come across it on eBay or even Amazon, someone selling it, it's quite an increased price. But then obviously it's a newer figure, but then your He-Man from the movie and Skeletor have come down. And probably one that I've paid the most for was Hordak.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I think I paid about 50 quid for that. Okay. I'll be honest. But I know that, again, I see it usually around the 90 mark and things like that. And I have pre-ordered the new Hordak.
Yeah.
And that's coming, the more yellowish tinged one as he looks in
the series.
Revolution. Or Revolution. Yeah. Is it Revolution? Yeah, Revolution's the same.
No, they're annoying. Why they couldn't have put the titles a bit different.
Revolution, yeah. So, yeah, and I was quite pleased to get that. It's quite cool. Oh, there's a loose bit in the box, but yeah. So that's all I grabbed from my vast pickups. Because usually I pick them up. Okay, I know a few there I've picked up. I've said I've paid full price for, but the most of them I've paid minimal. In sales. That's how I started getting them, in sales and things like that. And I'm always checking on Amazon because I have come to realise that it's cyclical on there.
Yeah.
Every month or so, there's a price decrease on Masters of the Universe, and then they go back up again, then they're back down again, and it's very much like that. So it's if you are picking them up or thinking of, it's very much worth checking Amazon and waiting, because it is like a roller coaster for the pricing. But one that's always low and then I've never picked up is Spikle.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that.
It's like $8.99, and I always see it whenever I'm scanning. I always see it, and I think it's $8.99. Why don't I just buy it for the collection? But there's just something about that figure that winds me up. And picking it up, I just don't want to pick it up. Not for $8.99. Yeah, if it was like $4.99, $3.99 I saw it for, I might say, all right, yeah, okay. But there's just something about it. And I think it's a difference in colour between the head and the body.
Yeah, I think
when I think that it should look the same. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But there we go.
No.
But yeah. Okay. But I enjoy getting these. They're nice. It's a nice nostalgia to them.
And they're quite, some of them are expensive, but as you say, the cost, they're not too bad on the grand scheme of things, especially if you compare them to other figures sometimes. So, yeah,
I didn't want to start paying full price for them. but a few I have. Others, like, you know, I went into my last trip into Forbidden Planet. They did have a fair few of the Revolution figures there, and I did pick up Mechanic, but the most of them I can sort of say, okay, I'm not going to pick that up. I'm not tempted with that. I'll wait until there's a price increase. Ram Man was another one that I really wanted, and I think I got that for 19 quid in the end.
Okay, that's good.
Or 23 quid, but when I saw it, it was one of those £40 ones because it's a larger box.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them I do wait for that decrease, and then I jump in. So I'm sort of casual collect. I look at although I've got a load, I do look at myself.
Yeah.
Casual.
I say it's a good visually looking set of series, and obviously if it reminds you of your childhood, then why not? Obviously, it's probably cheaper than trying to get the original figures. I'd imagine there's some of them that are just extortionate price.
Yeah, I'm not in the need for, you know what I mean. I don't need to chase down that sort of. I don't feel I'm quite content with the newer ones and having them sort of feeding that nostalgic feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather, because I don't collect cost or potential value. I don't collect, you know, so I don't feel the need to go and sort of try and hunt down the originals. Not that I'm knocking anyone that does, collectors or anything like that. We all have our own, you know, idiosyncrasies, so to speak, and what we like and don't like. And I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm just saying that this sort of feeds the sort of nostalgic feel and brings back the memories of the 80s and me having them as a kid and playing with them. Do you know what I mean? I do have Battle Cat as well.
Yeah.
From this line, and that, you know, that's a massive box that's like out there, and that was like, I was going to get the original Battle Cat, which they'd done, the more originally looking one, which was like $12.99. Then I came across the Masterverse one that was like $14.99. And I saw it. I thought, oh well, it's a no-brainer to go for that rather than the sort of retro-looking release. Yeah. I went for the new one because it's much larger and a bit more impressive to look at. And I have considered sort of opening this and that to display them
together
out of the box. He-Man riding Battle Cat. Do you know what I mean? I may do when the move's happened. We'll see. Watch your space for that.
I say the only thing I have to cover is 2 comics, but I've not read them in a while. So
okay, we can talk about the comics. Yeah.
So you go.
Well, I never really read. I don't recall reading the comics as a lad. The comics that were produced.
Yeah.
Certainly, if there was a way of getting them in you know, if they were re-released now in sort of hardback book form, much like they do with the or they did with the Transformers.
Yeah.
I think it was Eagle Moss or Hatchet. No, it was Hatchet. I think done the hardback Transformer books.
Yeah.
And I got all 100 editions of them at £10 a throw. 20 quid a month, and I collected the whole lot. If they'd done that with Masters of the Universe, I would probably very much like to get them.
Okay.
I have experienced the comics sort of through the DC era, which I have bunged away somewhere in a box. So that's the dog coming up. I have them, which I know they're DC era that you've got there, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, both of them are DC.
Yeah, so Eternity War, was there that's a volume 1? I know.
That's volume. That's all I've got. So that was a present.
Is there a volume 2?
Yeah, I think there's more. I think there's a few volumes to it.
Okay.
Because it collects obviously issues 1 to 6. So, and obviously has She-Ra on the back, which I quite like to say. It's just a somebody gave it to me as a Christmas present, which was a nice surprise.
So do you not read many of the comics then?
No, I've not really. I say both of these were presents, so I've not really read any of them. It's obviously because it features like toy lines and stuff. That's why people come in. Obviously, this is Thundercats as well. So
yeah, So I've got. I did pick up. I picked that up in a sale, $4.99, which is like a sort of a precursor to the Revelation. The Revelation TV show. And more recently, literally in the past few weeks, as we are recording this, I don't know when you're going to air it, issue 1 of Revolution.
Okay.
So that's I think that's about maybe 3-4 weeks ago. That issue 1 came out. To be fair, that's got quite nice art in it. You know,
yeah, it's very nice.
Other ones that I have got under the Dark Horse banner are a 4-part Forge of Destiny. So that's issue 1. So none of these you've
No.
How come? Is there a reason why?
I'm just trying to keep.
You collect comics and that, and you collect
yeah.
And then I have, just to show, I have Masterverse issues 1 to 4, which again is a sort of 4-issue mini series. I'm not sure what one comes first, Forge of Destiny or Masterverse now. I'm not sure how that. You're lucky I managed to find them because I'm putting a lot of stuff away, and I only came across them a few days ago by chance.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, comics, as you know, mine have gone up. Like each comic is about £5, and like every special one is like about £8 or £9. Obviously, the series I collect, we have Spider-Man, so I get 2 of those a month, and then a lot of like Power Rangers, so that's almost finishing. There's 2 of them. The Last Ronin, that's like £6 or £7. Batman, Void Rivals, and a few Gargoyles, and it's just I'm getting like 50, 60, £70 worth of comics a month, and then I see other stuff, and I'm like, can I really afford to? Of then trying to buy DVDs and 4K and that for this channel and toys for the other channel and doing everything else, and it's just I think comics have stepped back quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
it has become very expensive pastime, the comic side of it.
I say the thing that always gets me is when I always picked up a comic and it had the dollar sign on it, and it'd always be like, say it said £5, and then have a thing up like it's £3.20 or something, and now the dollar sign is probably what they charge me, at least, not more. Or if it says $5, they'll charge me £5, which is obviously more. Obviously,
it's very close. It's very close. Do you not get a discount in your?
No, we've had this discussion before. I've never got any sort of discount. I always see it as it's the one thing that I've never really given up, because I always think it's a local business, and I'm trying to help him, because obviously through COVID and everything else, it you can go to your comic store, they were sending them out to you and trying to help people out. But I think, you're not going to like retire early, I think, running a comic store, from what I know, depending, unless this may be Forbidden Planet. But
the thing is, I've always known, not actually going in another direction than He-Man at the moment, but I've always known comic shops to if you subscribe to them, that they offer a subscription discount. I've always known that from the age of 11. There was
maybe in London, but not Northampton.
There's a local one that opened in Herne Hill, where I used to work as a kid when I was 11, called Adventure into Comics, and that done it. Gosh Comics, when I was under them up in central London, they done it. Where I am now with A Place in Space, they do it, and they do it online as well. Like if you buy 5 comics online, you get a 25% discount.
Okay.
You get 25% knocked off the price. Whether they charge more than, so it kind of equates the same, I don't know. But It's just something I've always known.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But yeah, that's obviously the reason why I don't really collect the comic side of things. It's plus I think so much oversaturation of superheroes in the past, like what 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I felt that. I felt that, and the fact that the comics are very much a reflection of the films rather than their own thing now.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be all right before, because you had the comics, you had the films come along, which were a reflection of the comics, but doing their own thing. And now the comics are a reflection of the films in the designs of the outfits. And whatever film is out or TV show is out, is the comic will certainly be there because they're aiming for that audience, film audience. They're not making them for the comic audience, the comic fans. They're making them to capture the film fans, and yeah, that puts me off a lot.
Same here.
Yes.
Cool. So I see we're doing all right. We're probably run out of stuff. So I'm going to go to. So everybody doesn't see. I was trying to think of the questions, and I didn't want us to run out of subjects or things to talk about. So I put a question to AJ, and obviously, as we know, it's 2026, not 25. Apologies. That IMDb says there's a new film coming out with Travis Knight, so Bumblebee director, and obviously Kubo and the Two Strings. And there's obviously one writer, and obviously Nicholas Galatzin, who's only been in the Amazon Prime Cinderella movie that I've seen. I don't recognise him from anything else. But I put it to AJ, if we were to cast our own He-Man and Masters of the Universe films, what actors or actresses would be used? I don't know if you had time to have a think about this.
I've had a little think about it. Yes.
Should we go through like we'll choose a character and then we'll just say who we think?
All right, let me ask a question before we're doing it. Are we working this on the premise that are we going with the sort of He-Man, the original He-Man take where you've got are we going on the premise that there's a Prince Adam?
Yeah.
All right. Does Prince Adam look exactly the same as He-Man, or are we casting a different person as Prince Adam, and then when he turns into He-Man, he bulks up? So you've got that kind of Shazam-esque difference between the
exactly. I took the concept of the cartoon, but put it in modern day times. So, as you said, Prince Adam is a young, skinny kid, somebody completely different, like Shazam. That is who it is, and then the same for all the other characters, kind of somebody who may look like them or may have the acting prowess of them. Prowess.
Yep, prowess, yeah. Okay,
so it seems cool. Shall we start with then Prince Adam, as that seems as you've obviously had?
I honestly didn't think of anyone for Prince Adam. I don't really think it matters too much.
No, I mean I put Timothy Chalamet, so Wonka, just because I feel that Prince Adam should be really scrawny and weedy, and he's kind of the only main actor I can think of that is. You wouldn't, if someone said like, "Oh, he's He-Man," you'd be like, "No, he ain't. He's like,
yeah.
He's not even a man."
He's a decent enough choice. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, but I didn't think of that. I just went straight with He-Man himself.
Okay, who did you go with? Him? I think we might have the same thought concept here, but
okay, for He-Man, I went with Alan Richardson.
Yeah, spot on. Exactly who I would Reacher.
Yeah, I think he's got the size, he's got the height. I can't really think of anyone modern day actor or action star, so to speak, although he's only, who could fit the bill.
The only thing I kind of had a half concept with, if they did the whole change the colour, Terry Crews, but a bald He-Man that's of colour. That I would happily see that, but maybe that's just me.
Okay, that's interesting take.
I like Terry Crews, and obviously he's got that build for it. It wouldn't necessarily. I don't think his acting would be spot on to He-Man's, but
I've
to see.
got no issue with Terry Crews at all, but I do have issue with race swapping characters.
No.
Established characters. I won't get into that because it's very topical, and I have a great deal of thought on it. But I don't like the overall idea of race swapping characters. Either way, I'm not talking about, I've got an issue with black people. I don't at all. Terry Crews, I think he's great. I love him in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think, he's the standout. He's the reason I would watch Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah.
I think he was funny in that as the father. The father figure's always funny. But as much as I wouldn't want to see He-Man race swapped, I wouldn't want to see Blade, a white version of Blade, or a white version of Luke Cage, or anything like that. I'm very much a stickler for how something is established. Is as another character to worked in, but not He-Man for me. No.
Cool. I mean, do you want to go? Do you want to go through like I've got a few masters and then villains, or do you want to go Skeletor?
Because I ain't thought of many. I ain't thrown many out, but I'll be interested in your take, and it might open my make me,
Okay, we'll do the hero. So I've got Teela next.
Okay. Teela's, because all right, maybe Karen Gillan.
Okay. I went Gina Carano.
Okay. I'm thinking younger. I'm thinking...
I was more older, but she can hold her own. And I think Gina's probably the prime example of you were head of the guard. You wouldn't want to mess with her.
Yeah, no, Gina Carano, I'd be on board with a casting of Gina Carano, even as another character in it.
Okay.
Would she make a decent Evil Lynn? I think Evil Lynn needs to be thinner.
Yeah.
And taller. But do you know what I mean? But no, I think I'm there because my mind goes to the red hair.
Okay.
So Karen Gillan's in sort of my mind there. I would have said also with red hair, my mind went to the Game of Thrones girl, but I don't think she's a particularly good actress. Phoenix.
Yeah.
The Phoenix girl. I think Karen Gillan's got more range.
Sophie Turner.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Man at Arms.
Okay, see, I've got to go with here. You've got to go with an older person.
Yeah.
Someone with a bit of, but I didn't land on. There's probably so many I could think of, and my mind would go to someone like a younger Tommy Lee Jones, but he's too old for it now. There's probably someone who I can't land on, but go on. Who did you?
I went with Gerard Butler.
Okay, yeah, he's all right. Yeah.
I'm just thinking kind of he played the father. If thinking plain, he kind of had that father type of role, but then he's also done the action hero in like Gamer and something. He give him an armor and something like that and a mustache.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it. Okay. I'll carry it. I've already got. I've got Orko, Battlecat, King Randor, and Sorceress. Those are that's as far as I went. I didn't want to go too in depth. That's probably more than you.
Really? Well, you can go Skeletor.
Yeah. I've done those.
Okay.
We're doing the masters. We'll do the good guys first and end on the bad guys because I think they'll be more interesting.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't really think of Orko because it's just a computer animated.
Yeah.
It'd be a computer animated floaty thing. So you're going with a voice.
So I went with Jack Black. Just somebody silly. If you've seen kind of the trailer to Borderlands, to based on the game, if you took his voice in that, and maybe made it a bit more Orko-y, I think it'd probably be good enough.
Okay. So you okay? Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So interesting. You said Battle Cat.
Yeah. Cringer, so I feel he should talk like in the original ones.
Okay, so now I wouldn't want that.
Okay.
I wouldn't want a talking Cringer. I'd be happy with it being just a cat. But it's difficult, right? Because you always find that it's very easy to have a cat act like a dog.
Yeah.
Give it a dog, because when you want to give an animal personality, it comes across more. A cat will come more across as a dog. But I'd be quite happy with a non-talking cringer
Okay.
that turns to battle cat. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I said I had Kevin Kline for it. I think this is just more influence because I've watched recently with him, and I think he has
Okay.
He's got quite a good silly side and a little bit of a serious side, and I think that would fit the Cringer personality. But a non-talking Cringer would make more sense, or Battle Cat, I should say.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Cool. So then King Randall.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah, it would sit that good. I mean, I couldn't decide. I had either Pedro Pascal or Pierce Brosnan for kind of the old.
Okay, yeah.
I think both of those would be quite good dad type of figures.
Yep.
And then obviously Sorceress. Did you think of?
Well, again, it depends on what age range I want to go, because again, it's that redhead thing, isn't it? I've had Julianne Moore.
Okay, yeah.
I think I'd go. Yeah, it would have to be someone. Yeah, it'd have to be someone. I don't know if she's too old for it now. That's the only thing. But
Sorceress has got like a 30-year-old daughter, so I put her in I haven't even gone with a redhead. Same with Tila.
Yeah, so someone like Julianne Moore or my mind still goes to Amy Adams, but I don't think Amy Adams is suited to Sorceress.
No,
I think someone like Julianne Moore. Who would you?
I put Sandra Bullock. I just think she's been the right age range. She's got a good acting prowess, and I don't know, something I kind of think of from Bullet Train. If you imagine kind of her communicating commands or something, I think she'd be quite suited for Sorceress.
Oh.
And I like her, so she'd be easy.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, should we go to the villains, and then people can probably get bored of it? I mean, if you've got your own suggestions, let us know in the comments.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, because I don't like casting. I hate fan casting.
Okay, sorry.
In the sense, no, I don't hate it. I mean, I used to, Wizard magazine was great for it, right? I always used to enjoy going to all the fan casting, what film or what TV show they fan casting for, knew if they got. I always thought, I like that idea. But when it comes to me doing it, I'm like, crap. Yeah, go on then. Let's go.
Okay, should we go with Skeletor first?
Yes. Now, again, quite a difficult one because you're putting the person behind a mask.
Yeah.
Frank Langella was spot on, and I think that he could still do it now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think you could put him behind the mask and he could still deliver the role. Obviously, my mind is taken to Red Skull because of the look, and then obviously it takes me to the fella who done Red Skull in Endgame.
No, it's not Hugo Weaving, not the original one.
No, the geezer who out of because I don't think you really need a huge name for that role because it's hidden behind a mask.
Okay.
But someone who can command with their voice, and I think he does quite a bit of voice work as well. That geezer.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I'd be quite happy to see Langella back doing that.
No, I didn't even consider having the original cast. In all fairness, you're probably not going to like. So I went with Giancarlo Esposito. So.
Oh, the black fella.
Breaking Bad,
Chicken Man, yeah. No, he's yeah. I think that.
Yeah, I think his is obviously from Breaking Bad, and that kind of character built, that presence that he had would definitely suit Skeletor. Obviously, as you say, it's behind a mask, so it wouldn't really matter what colour the person is.
Well, it's blue anyway.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really matter, does it?
Okay. Well, I've only got Beast Man, Evil Lyn, and Triclops. They're the only three I did for the bad guys, kind of the main villains. Should we go Beast Man first?
Beast Man, I didn't even consider.
Didn't even consider. So you've mentioned him before. I put Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay, all right.
Because obviously he just needs to be in a suit. I mean, Beast Man doing the splits, maybe not for this movie, but I don't know. I just feel like obviously he did Predator, didn't he? So he's done makeup before. He did Predator, but obviously wouldn't have been seen. I don't know. I just think
it'd probably be mocap. They'd probably mocap it, wouldn't they now?
But I think it'd be quite big, bulky. Can't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cool. So then Triclops, you probably didn't consider him either as well. No, so I went with Timothy Olyphant.
So I like Timothy Olyphant. I think he's great.
Yeah, I think he's quite a good actor. I just think it'd be a little bit of a different role for him.
I've got a cushion upstairs with his face on.
Ah, okay.
My son
the one where you changes from like
no. But a sequin cushion, no.
Yeah.
It's just a cushion with his face on. My son bought me it for Christmas because I have this this joke with my son that if I were gay, I'd go for Timothy Olyphant. So because we both like Timothy Olyphant, he likes him as well. So he bought me this Christmas. He bought as a joke. He bought me this cushion with his face on it. That's quite good. That's quite good. Yeah, casting. He did pop into mind. I did consider him for other roles. Okay. As in, when I was thinking, I did Timothy Olyphant. Would he fit that? Would he fit that?
Yeah, I think he's quite good. He might fit. And then obviously Evil Lyn.
So this is the interesting one because you already said that.
No, have I?
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. Okay, that's right. I mean, I tried to think of the original woman, and I can't remember her name now.
Meg Foster.
Yeah, with the eyes and something like that. And I thought who would kind of look, and I went with Emily Blunt.
All right, yeah, you should
like
do that.
Give her contact lenses and maybe do something. I think she would be quite good as an Evil Lyn.
Yeah. I could see that.
Okay. And on that bombshell, that's a way to end this stream. So obviously, hope everybody has enjoyed this talk about He-Man and Masters of the Universe, everything and anything. I will release this, or you'll see this when I release this. It'll be a week or Monday. If you have any thoughts for the next episode, let us know in the comments down below. Obviously, with AJ moving around and stuff, it'll be a little while again, but we'll have a think and we'll come up with something.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've still got Thundercats 3, haven't you?
Yeah. I've got to read those comics.
You got? Sorry?
I've still probably got half of those comics. They got a movie on that one as well, have I?
No, I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Are you going to hunt down that now? Are you going to go?
Yeah, I am literally turn this off. I'm going to do my dinner and I'm going to be hunting that down. So.
Yeah, no, it's worthwhile. It's worth it, yeah.
Cool, but yeah, thank you, AJ, for coming on and helping me out as usual.
Thanks,
thanks everybody if you're watching this. It's been a fun and see you in the next one.
Take care.